Welcome to the Global Classroom. This is the instructional video for the class Bird on Fire, Phoenix and Sustainability. My name is Arnim Wiek.
My name is Michael Bernstein.
And we are responsible for the problem-based learning track in the Global Classroom. The problem-based learning track is based on a problem-based learning framework that focuses on how do we generate solution strategies for urban sustainability problems. The framework is based on 3 different modules. The first one is when we think about solving a sustainability problem, we obviously need to understand what the sustainability problem is. We need to understand cause-effect relations within the problem so that we have a good baseline to start from. The second module is focused on potential solutions to those problems, what we call sustainability visions. What are those potential solutions is the guiding question of the second module. The third module makes the link between those 2 modules. And the guiding question is here, how will we achieve the solutions? How do we build transition strategies? What kind of skills do we need to perform those 3 different tasks we just described? We have identified a variety of competencies we would like to teach you to be capable of developing solution options to urban sustainability problems. The first skill set is related to systems thinking. Thinking systemically, thinking about cause-effect relations. That's what systems thinking is about. Futures-oriented thinking is primarily about solution options. Solution options are in the future. We need to build your capacity to think creatively, but also in a structured way about those solution options. The third element is related to values. Sustainability is a value-laden concept. It's all about trying to be capable of analyzing problems from a sustainability perspective, but also critically reflecting on solutions from a sustainability perspective. Are those solutions really sustainable? Finally, very critical capacity is strategic thinking. This is a skill that develops how you build strategies for change. Change is required to move us out of problematic situations and towards a sustainable future. Now, how do those competencies map onto the initial framework? First, for the problem state, we need systems thinking and value-oriented thinking. You need to thoroughly understand the problem from a sustainability perspective. For the potential solution options, you need systems thinking and value thinking again, but you also need to really think in a structured way about how can we accomplish this in the future. So futures thinking is an additional component here for this module. And finally, how do we make this happen? How will we achieve those solutions? That requires strategic thinking. This class focuses on Bird on Fire, Phoenix and Sustainability. The title is based on the title of the book written by Andrew Ross. He published this book a couple of years ago, and it's based on a large number of interviews he has done and observation he has done in the Phoenix area, and he tried to tease out what kind of sustainability challenges are we facing here, and he somewhat comes to the conclusion that this is the most unsustainable place in the world, and obviously he provides a lot of evidence for this. We want to walk you through some of those challenges today, particularly focusing on your competence related to understanding profoundly what sustainability problems are, how are they structured, and building your competence in systems thinking.
So, when we look at the city of Phoenix, we see a lot of complex challenges that deal with energy, that deal with urban heat island, that deal with water, that deal with automobile dependency. And all of these problems have implications for humans, for the communities that live in Phoenix, for the social equity concerns that we've talked about in other videos. Just taking an example, we can see here how the energy structure of the city depends on the automobile structure, which depends on water and is influenced by the heat island. Is all these very complex and interrelated problem areas.
What is important too is that when we zoom into those different sustainability challenges, we see a different layer of complexity within each of those constellations. So if we just take, for instance, the urban heat island effect in the city of Phoenix, which is a major sustainability challenges with impacts on vegetation, with impacts on public health. But the problem itself has a very complex structure. So there are a variety of people affected by it, a variety of people causing it, and there are a lot of cause and effect structures we need to consider trying to better understand and profoundly understand those sustainability challenges.
Now, Bird on Fire also takes a look at some sustainability solutions underway, and we'll have you look at these solution options in some of the reading and videos. For example, what are transformations in the energy system of Phoenix? What are transformations in the transportation landscape? What are transformations in reducing urban heat islands, sort of planting more trees? What are the implications of that kind of a transformation for water? Also thinking about the Central Arizona Phoenix Canal project, maybe we want to do something in the future about reducing water loss from that system. As you can see, a lovely shot of the Cap Canal winding through the desert and losing 15% of its water in transport.
What is also important here is that we want you to critically think about those solutions. Not just reading and taking them and saying, okay, these are solutions to those sustainability problems we have discussed or you read about. The global classroom is really about building your capacity in critically thinking and thinking through how do those solution options work. Meaning, how do they intervene in the problem constellation? How would they play out? How would they slowly transform those sustainability challenges we're describing?
So again, in each of the readings, problems and solutions, challenges and opportunity will be mixed into the reading, to the video. And we want you to think very clearly about the differences in being presented with a challenge and the differences in being presented with a solution idea. And always think about people in the middle. Who benefits, who stands to lose, who's influencing, who rules, who makes the decisions, what are the equity implications of these decisions. So the first reading is actually not a reading at all, but it's an interview and a speech by the author Andrew Ross. It's a video clip we have you watching selections from. He'll talk about sort of the problem context of Phoenix and sustainability, the unsustainability of Phoenix, the bird on fire, if you will. He then, we will also then have you read sections of the book. We'll have you read part of the introduction and part of the conclusion so you can get a sense of how he opens and frames his position on sustainability in Phoenix. And then we'll have you watch selections of a Downtown Voices panel on sustainability in Phoenix, which was a great opportunity of bringing members in Phoenix from the university, from different nonprofits, from different businesses, from different decision-making contexts, and Andrew Ross together to discuss sustainability in Phoenix.
Just 1 second. We also want to bring it back to this nice brochure. It was introduced at a different lecture, but it's another set of projects that give you a good insight into some of the challenges we are facing on a neighborhood level, on a city level, on a regional level in Phoenix. And the brochure is structured in little profiles, so we have done a variety of projects, and each profile entails a short description of problems, but also outlines some of the solutions. So that's just another source you can use for this exercise of thinking through some of the sustainability challenges, but also the solution options. So what we want to encourage you, obviously, is beyond Bird on Fire, use other sources, use sources from previous classes, go out, look for readings, look for other video material, look for internet sources that describe complex sustainability challenges as well as solutions, and work your way through understanding how those challenges are composed and what kind of solution options are out there.
Mm-hmm. So as you read, as always, we want you to think about several different lines of discussion that we'll talk about, and I'll edit this in the class. I lost it. That was nice what you did with the brochure. Anyway,
okay. 3, 2, 1.
While you read, we want you to think about several different lines of discussion that we'll bring into the class later in the week. What are the sustainability challenges facing Phoenix? Just get a general picture of these challenges. How do they affect your life? And what might be the causes, the underlying structures and cause-effect chains that lead to these problems and challenges? We want you to think about how these challenges are interrelated. How do the different challenges affect you, affect individuals, other individuals, and affect the greater social fabric of Phoenix? We want you to think about examples of sustainability solution options presented in the Voices panel, in the Ross book. We want you to think about the conflicting values that these different solution options bring to the table. For example, if you want to reduce the urban heat island effect, maybe you want to plant trees, but that has a water cost associated with it. We want you to think about the sustainability solution options that you favor for Phoenix and why you favor them. We want you to think about how to make the changes that you would envision for the city of Phoenix, the solution options that you envision and favor in Phoenix. How do you make them a reality? And we want you to think about drawing in lessons from the other videos and other readings that we talked about, for example, in the decision-making video. And lastly, and also very important to the Global Classroom mission, we want you to think about how urban sustainability challenges and solutions differ in Lüneburg and Phoenix.
That is one of the key messages, obviously, in the Global Classroom, that you think, on the one hand side, on the challenges side, are we facing similar challenges? Are we facing very different challenges? And probably it's true for both. So we will see that there are related, for instance, to energy or mobility, quite some similar challenges just related to the high level of industrialization of both countries and both regions. On the other hand, we are also interested in learning from each other. Are there solutions we see at one of those places and we want to explore, and how far we can transfer them? So always look out for your peers on the other side of the ocean and make sure that you kind of start this dialogue rather sooner than later. Keeping the eyes on the prize, learning objectives are always tied to the sustainability skills we want to build in the Global Classroom. Specifically focusing in this class, the specific focus in this class is on making sure that you are able to apply systems thinking to, on the one hand side, describing sustainability challenges. And we have mentioned this a couple of times. We want you to understand the complex structure of those problems, but also how different problems are linked. Systems thinking is important to think through those challenges, but it's also very important to think about solutions. Where to intervene? How would the cause-effect relations play out if we think about solving those problems we're facing here? Second objective is explaining how social tensions result from sustainability challenges, as well as the solutions at Phoenix. Solutions also have losers. It's not only everybody is winning. Obviously, we want to create win-win-win situations, but we need to see what are the unintended consequences, what are the costs to some of the solution options we're thinking about. The third one is linking the urban sustainability challenges and solutions from past videos, from past classes in the context of Phoenix. It's really about starting as you work through the readings from the different classes, make linkages, integrate. We have talked about decision making quite a bit in one of the other classes. Here's the chance for you to make an explicit link to the problem solving part. And finally, comparing the differences in urban sustainability challenges and solutions. That's one of the capacity that throughout the Global Classroom is critically important. Across different cultures, think about what is different in terms of challenges, but also what can we learn from each other in terms of moving forward together on solutions to sustainability challenges.
So again, in this video about Phoenix and sustainability, the bird on fire, we thought a lot about and focused a lot about the system of challenges that interrelate and interact and the cause-effect chains driving these problems, and also the way the solutions interact and the cause and effect change to influence to get these solutions, really focusing on the systems thinking competence with an eye also on the strategic competence. This was the last of the instructional videos. I know it's going to be sad not to watch any more from us.
We will be back, but in a different setting.